All right, all right. Here we are again. Hypnosis for permanent weight loss. Leslie M. Thornton here. Happy to be with you today. Really happy to be with you today. As a plane flies over my home here in Albany, New York, to make audio things perfect for this podcast, couple quick announcements. Number one, if you know of anyone that could use hypnosis for permanent weight loss's help, maybe you're a previous or a current client and you understand what we're all about here. And lucky for you, I'm going to be talking about that today on this podcast episode of who hypnosis for permanent weight loss is for in particular. But say you already do know based on your experience, or you've been listening for a long time and maybe you know it's not the right time for you, but that there are people in your life that you would like to have conversations with around how you can actually support them in getting out of this place of obsessing about food. If I know anything, it's that like attracts like when it comes to friends groups. So chances are that if you're obsessed with food, body, and weight, or were in the past before you did this program, that there are other people in your life who also are in that same boat, that are praying and wishing that they had the same gift of this program that you now have today, or that you're working towards being able to get started with, or whatever that looks like for you in this moment. So we do have a referral program, and less about it being a referral program and how boring that may sound. It's really understanding that what makes healing full circle is when we're actually sharing with the people that we love and care about the work that has made the biggest difference for us in our lives. Why? Because then we expand out and our social circles become so much more robust, right? For those of you who have been in the program or in the program now, you know that magic of coming onto those calls with other like-minded people who are working to get out of the same mental trap that you are when it comes to food, body, and weight. And imagine for a second that that could be your day-to-day life outside of hypnosis for permanent weight loss, and getting that we are cause in that actually being possible to happen. Like if you don't share about it, who will? Right? I know for myself, it is a daily practice of thinking about the things that I've done or the things that have made the biggest difference. And when I'm around other people and they're sharing with me what's happening for them, or something that feels incomplete, whether it's food, body, and weight, or, their job or business or whatever that is, and I know anything that can help them, I'm taking a stand for them to find out and do that thing. So regardless of this being about this program and referring people here, which we do compensate people for as a way to say thank you, um, regardless of that, just know that as a practice to being the type of person who lives to make a difference for other human beings leads to an extraordinary, extraordinary life all the way around. So it only makes me happier, makes my life more purpose filled when I can be the person who can make that difference. Because if not me, then who? So please reach out and we will let you know how you can also be compensated for your willingness to share and make that difference for others. We appreciate your doing that. Also, we have had some new people from the podcast begin joining now our Mighty Network group. So if that's something you'd like to do, totally free of cost, and to being able to get that actual, support, I'm in there on this Mighty Network. It's an app that you can download and be part of the group. You can go ahead and join by going to, let me see if I can think, bit.ly/HPWL network. And with that said, let's get into the content of today, being around who hypnosis for permanent weight loss is for. Well, first, let me tell you, it's been quite the journey for me to discover who hypnosis for permanent weight loss is for. As there's so many people that have different things happening with their health and with their weight and with their bodies. And it's not for everybody, right? Is something that I've learned along the way. It's really not. So what hypnosis for permanent weight loss is, I've had episodes in the past before really going into what it means to actually achieve this permanent weight loss, and the fact that, right, that one episode I did on skinny is a state of mind, and knowing that it's the necessary foundation required to being able to stop obsessing about food and body and weight for the rest of your life. And as a result of that, weight loss can happen with grace and ease without your even having to think about it at all, right? You can go ahead and think back to a time where maybe you were at a low amount of weight, if that's happened for you, or you were lower or whatever. So many people that I talk to, myself included, when that's happened, it's happened automatically without their even thinking about it. It's just like the season and phase of your life that you're in is just so robust, and you're doing a whole bunch of stuff, and things just kind of start getting to place. Your energy comes back. Maybe you went through a hard phase, you had a loss or a breakup, or something challenging in your life that happened. And so, you went through this kind of, just low energy phase that feels bad, right? And maybe you gained some weight or whatever. And then, as it does when we're taking action on our lives and continuing to make sure that we get support that we need and all of that kind of stuff, it's like, oh, now we're back in action. Or, right. I remember when it happened to me, I was on the tennis team in college. I was working at the gym in the evenings. So I was working out just when I was working at the gym. And then I also had my first college class started at 11 a.m., kind of like easy peasy. So it was a schedule that really worked for me. Right. And it just so happened that because it just all was in flow and I had energy because I was able to sleep in a little bit more and, staying up late and maybe probably exercising in the evening time because that's when my shift just happened to be at the gym, that all this weight just started to come off. Right. And I'm walking to class, but I wasn't trying to. Okay. I was just living my life. And in my experience, that when we have the low energy or that challenging time in our life that we all go through at different points in our lives, is that's when the mind can start kicking up and just makes that time of low energy feel even worse. It can make the binges even worse or the overeating way worse. Just amplifies the entire thing. Right? So who this program is for. I don't want to say that this program is not for someone who actually authentically wants to lose weight. And I don't want to say that because we all know that we feel better, right? Just a little bit better, day to day about ourselves if we like fit into like our perfect, jeans or into whatever that thing is. And we feel super confident in our bathing suits because, you just have that weight come off. Like we all know that that does feel, there's a spark that happens when that happens, right? And consider the fact that that's why we're chasing that spark, because you've had some sense of that experience before, right? And so we want it back. Okay, so we know that that's true. And it's, we don't want to say that it's not that you don't want to lose weight, right? Everyone who comes in this program, they really want to lose weight, but they have the awareness and they have the understanding that it is about way more than the weight that's holding them back. They're aware that it's their mindset. They're aware, you're aware that you've been struggling with this for your entire life. You're also aware that you feel like you can't do it again. That at this point in your life, you can't do another diet again. And you're scared to death that it's all going to come back because you're stuck between a rock and a hard place, right? On one hand, you want to lose the weight and you want to stop eating in a way that you don't agree with for yourself. On the other hand, you can't stop and right? And it just keeps happening. And like, I feel better when I don't eat, but the reality is I am eating, right? The reality is that this is what's happening, right? So that there's something in the background, that this is an unhealed part of yourself, right? For an example, as a way to like check in. For myself, I knew that this was not healed when I had someone who called me up and said, "Hey, I just realized that, over the last several months, you've put on some weight." And I was so upset by that. Like, I was speechless. I didn't talk to that person for a few days, which is not like me, right? And I just kind of shut down. I was emotions that I don't even know, but just probably tons of anger and just I was triggered, right? It was just like, "Oh my God, they just said the worst case scenario thing to me ever." Okay. And for some of you, it might be that, or it could be right. But this is just an example that anything that still triggers you, or if if food triggers you, where you're like, I gotta have that, now, or like, I can't have that, like it's just a trigger for you. It's showing that there is that way deeper issue that's going on with your relationship to food, body, and weight and yourself, right? And it's tied in with so many other things. Okay, your upbringing, your relationship with your parents, a lot of relationships with mom that comes through here, right? And yeah, just all of that stuff that's underneath the surface. So it's for people who really want to excavate that surface because they're in for the long game. They don't want to do the short game anymore because they know it's a path that just doesn't lead to anywhere that actually makes them truly and lastingly fulfilled and satisfied. Right. And we're not saying that we ever get to a place in life where there is always this utopia, but we are talking about getting to a place in life where food doesn't have to be a trigger at all anymore. 0%. Right? I never thought that there would be a day when I could say that I had zero charge trigger around food, or if someone said something about my weight. Just last night, my dad was like, "Are you getting skinnier? Are you getting skinnier?" Right? And even it could be the opposite of that, of like, "Why are you commenting at all about my weight, dad?" Right? But it's just like, it doesn't have any effect on me. I'm just like, "Yep." Like, I don't know, maybe, right? Like, I just don't care. It's just, it's neutrality, 100% neutrality on that topic whatsoever, right? I've just made this, I won't say I made this decision. I did make a decision that I wanted to learn to love and accept my body for the way that it was, and be around other people that also were on a path of learning how to love and accept their body the way that it was, and on a path of healing the things that are underneath the surface of that. Right? Because I knew that there was emotions tied in with that. I knew there was a lot of, background baggage that had yet to be uncovered. Okay. So it's really that, some people might call it like a spiritual path, or just like this path of, that unconditional love that I talk about so much, of how to actually excavate those things and get deeper and closer to yourself and your why, and realize, right? Like our previous client Ava talked about with permanent weight loss, is like, it just means that there is nothing that I can't do today or accomplish today in the weight that I am in today. And it's only the mind that says, we got to get this weight off fast, or else XYZ bad thing is going to happen. Diabetes, blood pressure in your family, right? Like all of these things that we're concerned about. Or I need to lose the weight in order to get that dream job. I need to lose the weight in order for me to attract my partner. Like, this is all stories. Okay. And I need you to understand, what I want you to understand here is the fact that we can't ever have permanent freedom from food, body, and weight triggers and charges, and therefore permanent weight loss. Because when we stop thinking about something, that's when the stars start lining up, and you get to that place of automaticity where it's like, oh my gosh, now I'm just like waking up every day and like slowly my weight's starting to come off, but like I'm not trying to do that. Right? Like 0% trying to do that. Right? So it's like, if you want that, right? If you want to do this in a completely different way, where you're willing to put aside the fast, quick fix, I need to lose the weight now, and you're willing to actually go through the journey that you just are on, right? Because in reality, we can't change the journey that we're on, right? Like, whatever journey we're on is the journey that we're on, right? And every day we all wake up with different challenges, with your family, with your kids, with your career, with your health, with your, right? We all have that, but it's the way that we're being in the times of experiencing those challenges, right? Of knowing how to take care of yourself, right? I just talked to a gentleman yesterday who was saying, like, people always tell me, like, I need to take care of myself. What does that even mean? I don't have time for that. And I said to him, most of my clients are caregivers, just like you, right? Like, they get their sense of life and their sense of purpose from taking care of others, right? Of taking care of, yeah, just taking care of others, but they always at the sacrifice of taking care of themselves. And they don't know how to do that. And if you don't know how to do that, I get that. And what I said to him was like, this might sound a little bit quasi, but follow me for a second, is that when it's our automatic pattern to take care of other people before ourselves and we don't have the time, then we need to force ourselves to make that time on a regular basis, right? And actually pay some money so that we actually show up, right? The only reason that we charge money for the Hypnosis for Permanent Weight Loss program is so that you really get the results, so that you're putting all of yourself in it, of being like, this is how serious I am about getting out of that food prison space, right? It's all about that. And he was like, that makes perfect sense to me. And he's actually investing in himself now and he's ready to get started, right? To like, because, right, it just makes sense. I know for myself, as soon as I stop being invested in something that is a goal that I'm working towards, right? If I stop investing in this business and how to actually reach more people and stay on target, and I'm not spending, thousands of dollars per month to like stay on track, I'm just going to kind of like start floating and like I won't be able to help as many people, right? Because I'm not in the game. I don't have any skin in the game. I'm not saying bringing myself to that cause, right? It'll just be like, oh yeah, like now we're just, right? And then that's just what happens, right? So it's also like the money mindset aspect. It's like understanding, right? It's like, it's all a mind game and it's mastering how to play this game of life. And it starts with not ignoring the fact that you have this voice inside of yourself that says, I know that the food issue is way deeper than just calories in and calories out. I know how to do that. I've done that before, right? Ideal clients for this and who this is for, they've lost weight in the past and they put it back on, and usually more so, right? They're doing 1,000 things at the same time. They're always there to help everybody else, but they themselves need help, and asking for help is not your greatest strength. Okay. And it's like having to literally just do whatever it takes to change those patterns, right? By putting yourself into a program that's going to force you out of your comfort zone, right? It's going to force you to actually hear things that maybe when other people say it to you, you just like block out and you're like, nope, not going there. Not, but then when you actually say like, okay, I am open to coaching, you'll be like, oh my gosh, my husband says that to me all the time. Or, oh my gosh, my mom says that to me all the time. It's like, okay, cool. Maybe mom actually knows something. Let's look at that. And then we actually get to have you choose, right? A new and powerful way of being and acting and living in the world that has food become such a back burner thing for you, because you're bringing yourself towards something that actually matters and counts and makes you, right? All of the things that make human beings happy, right? The fall away of a lot of religions is happening at this time, right? And the sad part about that is the lack of community, right? The lack of every single week knowing that you're going to your synagogue or your church or whatever that place is, right? And having that environment that allows for that kind of meditative state to happen, right? The music that happens that kind of soothes us and nurtures us and gives us all these things that are proven to make human beings happy, right? And practice that and have that discipline be part of a regular basis activity, right? So we need to get crafty these days, right? We're now entering back after a year-long pandemic, and there's still, things happening in the world with that right now. And right there's people that aren't wanting to enter back into the workplace, right? There's so many things that are changing. And with that, mental health is changing, right? Like the fall away of the water cooler conversation from now working at home, there's new challenges to deal with that, right? And there's actually a whole group of human beings, myself included, who have been doing that challenge, if that makes sense, who have been facing all the obstacles that come up with that, right? Like being, 10 feet away from your refrigerator when you're working every day to like keep getting up and getting stuff, right? Versus having that accountability of staying at your workspace, right? If you used to work in an office or whatever, like it's all these new habits and patterns coming up that can be solved. Like you are not at the mercy. And I know for myself in the past, before doing this work on getting neutrality around food and, healing my relationship with food and my emotions and all of that kind of stuff, I used to always try to change my external stuff. I used to sign up for programs that were at nighttime so I couldn't eat at night. right? Or I would consider going for a job just so that I wouldn't eat, right? Like I'm piling all of these things on into my life and adding more stuff and trying to control more things so that I could control how much I was eating every day and not get quote unquote fat, right? Like that was my prerogative. What kind of way of living life is that? Right. And there's for some people, it's like that works and they're happy with it and they're at peace. I'm not talking to those people. The people that this is for is like they do desire to have that peaceful, relaxed, like getting to have presence with your family and your friends and getting to have meaningful conversations and getting to like actually talk about things that like are intimate, great conversations that aren't always revolved around you and constantly thinking about your own stuff that isn't getting resolved, right? Like just those and just enjoying life, just showing up fully like here I am. I'm going to do the best I can every day. Like how can we make this happen, right? Like that that's who this is for, right? Like that go-getter that's just like anything is possible. If Leslie can, teach herself to not get up every 20 minutes to go and hit the fridge, even though she's super stressed every day. And she's saying that it's because the result of doing everything that this program has to offer and that all of her clients are getting that result too, then how could I not do that? Right? Like, how can I not do that? Like, to me, it's just lacks responsibility to not do that or to not be like, I have to have that when you know that that's the thing that is like the thing, right? We say that it's like, oh, it's this, it's that, it's this, it's that. But in reality, it's like, no, I'm scared that I'm going to eat and get fat. Like, it's as simple as that. Right. And I'm not trying to like, I'm just saying it literally is as simple as that. I think I've shared before about how I was talking to someone, they're talking about retirement and how they were really concerned about like what they were going to do in retirement, like without work, like, what am I going to do? And I found out that at the bottom of that is like for them is the fact that they're afraid that they're going to get fat and like smoke all day in their free time. They've never learned how to just be in their free time. They've continued to live their life in this rat race of caretaking, always needing to have something to distract or to, right, just this kind of thing. And it doesn't have to be that way, right? Like, what would it be like for you if you could just enjoy your life? And like, I have clients that are talking about how like I'm just driving and I'm looking at the trees and I'm like, these trees are gorgeous. Right. And like, but when there's a part of ourselves that's incomplete, when there's fear that's just running in your head 24/7, you can't be present to your life. And then you snap your fingers and your life has gone by. And yes, you may have like crossed some things off the bucket list, but you never actually got to experience that thing. You never actually did. Right? When I was backpacking around New Zealand, like, yeah, I have photos and social media and like, right? Like I can like show all this like great stuff that I'm doing. And I was miserable in my mind. My journal was just like, I am obsessed with food. Like I can't stop thinking about eating. Like that was all that I could think about. And I was a stress ball. That was it. I had no connection like with other human beings because I was just in my head. I even had someone on my travels when I was in Bali say like, "Oh, you just always seem like you're just in your head," and it's just like, "Oh, like that's the impression that I'm giving off is that I'm just like not out there with people, like not actually engaging." Right? And that's what addiction, that's what obsession, the mental obsession part does. Right? Isolates us and then it just snowballs on top of each other and it just keeps like just making it worse and worse. And I don't want that to happen to you anymore. I want you to be able to go to New Zealand and enjoy every aspect of it and not think about anything else or worry about how this, what were they always eating in New Zealand that I never could eat because I was in diet mentality was it was like calzones or it was something like that. They're like, oh, they're famous for their, oh, somebody can remember, hop onto our Mighty Network group and let me know what I'm thinking of. Right. But it was like I had to deprive myself, quote unquote, of those things because I was a food addict and I can't do that. And all these disempowering messages that were making my life a living HE double hockey sticks day in and day out. Didn't matter how much success I was having. It didn't matter how much show off that I could do, I was miserable in my brain. And that's not a way to live your life. Right. And now I wake up every day. I'm not miserable in my brain. I'm definitely not thinking about food. Yes, there's always going to be problems to solve and things that have to get done and, like, feelings that aren't great all the time. I'm not trying to say that life is 100% flowers and daisies, but it's the way that I'm approaching it. Right. And they're knowing that I'm choosing these problems to then be able to make my life bigger and more abundant and more expansive and be able to help more people because of the woman that I'm becoming every day. Right. It's like, I want that kind of problem. The problem that I don't want to have is to be stuck in this food prison that I had since I was 8 years old, constantly on this rat race of never, ever, ever enough. Right? So day to day for myself, I'm eating beautiful meals. They're not hard, they're not complicated, right? It's just I'm listening to my body. I can have it, I can not have it. I could order takeout, I could not order takeout. I could have, a bowl of chips and feel fine about it if that's what I really desire to have. I could not have that and that's fine. Right? And like I could have a whole plate of cookies, which, is one of my favorite things if I'm really like in the mood for that, which I can say that now. But like if there was a plate of cookies in my house that were freshly baked before I did this work, I'd have to eat all of them. I'd be thinking of them day in and day out. I wouldn't be able to think about anything else. That plate would be gone within 24 hours of cookies. And then, right, I'd be on to the next obsession with food and weight. And then I'd be weighing myself. And then I'd be trying not to eat for the rest of the day. All that madness would just be nonstop, right? And fast forward to today and now, non issue, 0% issue. It took a long time. I had to face a lot of fears. I had to cry a lot. I had to get angry a lot. I had to feel a lot. Right. And it's not always comfortable. But like a client that's currently in our program right now, she's like, I want that. I want to feel the pain. I want to excavate it out because I know that that's going to give me the access to having that freedom that you have today, Leslie. And I want that. This is what I'm here for. Right. And so that is how I'm going to end today. This is who it's for. You want that. This is what you're here for, is to get present to your life, is to be able to enjoy things again, to be able to not always have your food revolve around, am I going to let myself eat that? Am I not? Right? It's wanting to have that grace and ease and joy and appreciate every day that your lungs are breathing and your heart is beating and the connections that you have and the beauty that is all around you. I want that for you if you want that. So contact us. Again, if you know someone, please reach out for us to be able to have you help them get referred to us and to be able to support you and making a little money in that way as well. And with, without further ado, we'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.